Good afternoon. I actually found Eric's top 10 list to be funny because when he got to the number one priority about supporting the Lighthouse Project, he said, give it a hand, and then he said, raise your hand. So how can you raise your hand and be clapping at the same time? This is truly the sound of one hand clapping. But we do support the Lighthouse Project, and Eric, thank you for that very kind introduction. And there are so many business leaders and elected officials here. I won't try to go through that list, but in these very difficult times, it is great to have Mark Alesi in the Assembly, and he's here with us today. I spoke to Brian Foley, the state senator. He told me he would be dropping by here at some point, so we will await his arrival. And to so many of you who have been here, the county legislative majority leader, who I knew many years ago, John Cooper, is here, and it's good to see him. Earlier, thank you, all of you John Cooper fans. Richard Babone from the Long Island Business Council was introduced earlier, Roger Clinton from the Long Island Federation of Labor, and certainly Scott Reckler, who is the head of RXR Real Estate, is here as well. And it's great to see so many of you here and so many younger people who are part of the Youth Smart Growth initiative that are here as well. And we want to thank them. They care about the future of Long Island, they care about the future of the state, and they care about the future of the country. Sadly, someone who is not here, and we pray that his spirit is, I'd like to acknowledge the passing last weekend of Brookhaven Town Councilman Keith Romaine, who passed away suddenly and far too soon, so he will be in our thoughts. Smart growth, to me, is really a concept whose origin should have been a lot longer ago than it was. Because what you are seeing, not just in New York, but in 48 of the 50 states right now that are running a deficit. Can you believe that 48 of the 50 states are running a deficit? 49 of the 50 states have had declining revenues for the past 3 months. And the 50th state, the governor resigned, the state of Alaska. So I guess there just wasn't anything else to do in Alaska because they don't have the problems that the rest of us are having. Very serious problems in this recession, and not making smart growth choices, not making decisions about the future is the reason that it's happening. In other words, we have been teetering on the edge for years of financial insolvency, even in the 90s, when the Dow Jones average of Wall Street quadrupled. It went from 2,500 in 1990 to 10,000 in 1998. Believe me, resources were rolling in from Wall Street because Wall Street constitutes 20% of New York's tax base. Somehow, 5 of the 8 years, we outspent the money that was even coming in at those times. And now the money has gone away. And so really, smart growth is the idea of addressing the progress of the future rather than the comfort of the present. And that's what all of you understand so well, and that's what I'm trying to get, and many legislators in Albany understand that, but not enough for us to make the tough choices now to avoid cataclysmic disaster later. Don't listen to those people behind the curtain who are telling you that the recession is over. Because what the recession has done to a lot of states is ignited what was the fuse of lack of consideration for the future in the first place. And that's why we're in the terrible difficulty that we're in now. But it's why I am so delighted to be here with all of you. Many of you have recognized right here at Visions that the smaller regional projects can create long-term economic growth and sustainable long-term prosperity, as opposed to big business projects that often are hard to set up and often don't really have anything more than a promise of success down the road. It's the energy return on energy invested. It's how much we get out of the work that we actually do. We in the state of New York would like to feel that we're your partner here at Visions, that we're working on those issues as well to address the issues of government spending and government operations. And we have a smart growth cabinet and a very dynamic person by the name of Paul Beyer, who is the chair of our smart growth cabinet. We are making sure that state agency spending on land use is aligned with the principles of smart growth that Visions has helped to point out. This will be the long-term prosperity that we actually need. We are going to invest in the downtown area of Wyandanch, which our smart growth cabinet has designated as a spotlight community. Now, by the way, I want to let you in on a little secret. Whenever I make these presentations, my staff members read the remarks that they want me to make onto my voicemail. I am so glad that I'm from Long Island because you will not believe the way they pronounce Wyandanch. I would have been run out of here on a rail if you had heard the way they pronounced Wyandanch. So for all the wonderful things that happened to me when I grew up here in Long Island, I am so glad I did today because I know how to pronounce Wyandanch.